Hi, I'm Tim Blueflint Ramel. I'm Bad River Chippewa and Comanche. I'm a flute maker, a second generation jeweler, and an educator and performer. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and now I live in Northern California. When I was growing up, and I was literally surrounded by artists, as I said, and I've never had any formal art training, and nobody in my family had ever had any formal art training. And when I was in high school, I had a particular teacher. Her name was Julie Roberts, and she gave me a love for fine art. She developed an interest and a hunger and an understanding of the Dutch masters, the Hudson River artists, the Taos masters. She just, it was a high school class, but there was something about the way that she presented it that just created this fire in me um, to travel, even as a teenager, just to go to art museums, just to hang out, just to look close and look at the brush strokes and see the different layers of glazes and the different just the different mediums that were just out there, and it was so fascinating. um so if there was one person outside of my family, outside of my close contacts, that um that refined my love for a particular art and built a fire in me, yeah, that was my high school teacher, Julie Roberts. I'll never forget her. I never really considered that being a dual media artist was not something that's really common. Um, I started out making flutes. I started out making flutes out of curiosity. The flutes that I was able to buy, they didn't sound like my grandfather's old flute. The flutes that I learned to play on, and the flutes that my grandfather played, and all of his friends played, they were not Western tuned. And the flutes that I was able to buy, they were Western tuned. But it was still missing. They were missing that old time sound, and so that's what I was looking for. So that's why I started making flutes. Conversely, with silver, that was something that I pulled out of the grab bag of my memory, with my grandmother, and it's something that I've always loved. And between the two mediums, I really have these really great memories of my grandparents. The thought process has changed since I become a jeweler, because now I think of terms not in steps. I think in terms of staging a piece. It's not about being efficient. It's about it being right, and about it being clean, and about it being the best that it can be, and in what order I need to do things to create a better outcome. Art is supposed to make us feel. Music is supposed to make us feel. And so that's part of my process, is how does this interpret from visually to feeling? Um, and then, I start with designs. I mean, I will fill sketchbooks of one particular project. Um, Other projects that turn out equally amazing in the way that I feel about them start with a simple line, just a line on a paper, a particular shape, a particular curve, a particular angle or arc, um, and it builds. And so what I try to do is I try to take things from their simplest form and in my mind and in sketches, and I expand that to its most complex form, and then I try to flesh it out and bring it back down to where um, the original elements are there, all the elements of the story are there, um, but it's raw. It's raw, and it allows room and individual feelings, and I think that that's what art is all about.